Right now? Okay. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Sheriff Carmine Marcino and the men and women of the Lee County Sheriff's Office, we want to welcome you to our Do the Right Thing ceremony for today. This is for the month of November of 2021, and we'd like to thank those of you live in our audience today, as well as those watching live on our Lee County School District's YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in today. We have a very exciting day for everyone. But before we get started, we're going to do our Pledge of Allegiance, and today that's going to be led by Anika Lewis. Come on up, Anika.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Anika. Everybody can be seated. I want to begin today's ceremony by acknowledging the school board of Lee County. Chairperson Debbie Jordan of District 4, Vice Chairperson Betsy Vaughn of District 6, Mary Fisher of District 1, Melissa Giovanelli representing District 2, Chris Patrica representing District 3, Gwinnetta Gittins, District 5, and Kathleen Morgan representing District 7. Also, Dr. Ken Savage, who is the superintendent of our schools. We appreciate all you do for our student recognition program. And let's have a round of applause for the school board and Dr. Savage. And representing Sheriff Marcino and assisting with the certificates and trophies today is the big man to my left here. Lieutenant Sylvester Smalls is his name, and he has a few words for Sheriff Marcino.
Congratulations to all of you. On behalf of Sheriff Carmine Marcino, we thank you for doing the right thing, and let this be known, this is just a gateway to other big things that's going to happen. So good job to all.
Thank you, Lieutenant Smalls. That was 10 words. That was 4 words more than you spoke last month. Also, our personnel that you see in the white shirts today assisting us are members of our Sheriff's Office Civilian Support Unit. We couldn't put on these ceremonies without their help and just getting everything organized. So let's have a round of applause for our Civilian Support Unit. Also, I'd like to thank Lieutenant Donnie Fuel, Beth Schell, and Tiffany Wood with the Sheriff's Office, as well as Jason Sill and Emily Emmerich with the Lee County School District. They are responsible for everything you see in here today, inside here, as well as the live feed going out through the school district's YouTube channel. So they are back there making it all happen. Again, thank you for all your assistance, as well as Tiffany Wood up front going to be taking some pictures. The pictures I'll try to get emailed out to everybody within a week. So thank you for everybody for your assistance in that regard. Also, the YouTube channel that I've mentioned, if you look at the bottom of your program today, you'll see the address for the Lee County School District's YouTube channel. If you go home today, anytime, day or night, just go ahead and sign in to the school district YouTube channel at that address, and you'll be able to watch a repeat of today's ceremony or any other ceremony throughout the school year. With us today is school board member Chris Patrica, who I mentioned earlier, who represents District 3. We're delighted she could join us and share a few words with everyone. Let's have a round of applause for board member Chris Patrica.
So good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good. Are we really excited to be here? Yes. Are we really excited to celebrate our kids? I'm really excited to celebrate our kids. Can I get the kids to stand up for a second, please? And I want you to stay standing even after some of them are so little you can barely see them when they're standing. I want you to stay standing after the applause ends. Everybody, please give them a round of applause. Now, what I want to say to you guys is part of the reason why you were able to do the right thing And part of the reason that you're being recognized today is because you have parents, adults, teachers, and principals in your lives who have helped you to know how to do the right thing, right? Does that make sense? Does that make sense across the board? So I'd like all of you up here who are receiving awards today to please give them a round of applause. Okay, you can sit down now. Thank you for that. I want to say one more quick message to you. Does anyone here know what muscle memory is? My older guys know what muscle memory is? What's muscle memory?
When you do something frequently and it becomes instinct.
When you do something frequently and it becomes instinct. Anybody know who's playing tonight? New England Patriots are playing tonight. Mac Jones is their quarterback. In my opinion, he's the best quarterback to ever play the game, even though he's a year old. The reason why he's such a good quarterback is because he practices over and over and over and over again, right? So what I'm going to challenge you guys to do here, you're all really young, and you've all done the right thing. I'd like you to think about how you can go about doing the right thing and making that part of who you are, making that part of your muscle memory, right? Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing because you have peer pressure and you have people around you sort of pushing you in the direction of making some bad decisions. But every time you do the right thing, it becomes easier the next time and easier the next time. And that's muscle memory. So let's commit to making doing the right thing part of your sort of moral and ethical muscle memory. Sound like a plan? Yeah. Okay, congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Board Member Chris Patrica. Also joining us today is Judge Robert Branning, making his way up front. Judge Branning is a longtime avid supporter of our Do the Right Thing program. Now, you'll notice in your book bags, you get letters, the students get letters from dignitaries congratulating them. Judge Branning is one that has been sending that out for many years. You'll also get from Judge Branning a copy of the Pocket Constitution, so they are becoming better informed about their government as well. So, Judge Branning would like to share a few words with our honorees today. Welcome applause for Judge Branning.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all very much. I won't take up much of your time. I do want to point out that, similar to what Mrs. Patrica just said, that life comes down to a series of decisions. That thanks to the influence of your parents, your teachers, your brothers, your sisters, your grandparents, all of the folks involved in your lives, that's why all of you have been allowed to sit here today, because fundamentally, when given the choice, you decided to, quote, do the right thing. This doesn't happen overnight, folks. We live in a society where there are hundreds of choices, and these young kids face choices that, frankly, I never had, in all likelihood, you never had. There are opportunities every day, both in their school life, their personal lives, decisions about, social media and other pressures that they face that I can't even contemplate. Here's what I can tell you. The underpinnings, the fundamental foundations of those choices, the bedrock of who they are, comes from all of you. The legendary coach, John Wooden, has a saying that I've always appreciated. Character is what you do when no one is watching. I promise you, sitting out here today and those watching on the YouTube and later on television, none of these young men and women did the right thing because they expected any accolade. They expected no reward. They didn't do it because they thought they'd get up here and who wouldn't want a letter from me? The truth is they didn't do it because they thought they would get a trophy or applause. None of that mattered. That's character. They did it because of what you've taught them, the values that you've instilled in them, and their ability that when given the chance, when faced with that fork in the road, when faced with the chance to take A or B, they did the right thing. They made the right choice. And I can tell you, folks, from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the 20th Circuit, I appreciate you, your continued effort, your continued support of everything. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Judge Branning. Now, we also appreciate the support from our business community. Do the Right Thing does not use tax dollars, so we depend on organizations and businesses to help us put on programs like this. Our two main sponsors are Lee County Electric Cooperative and Alliance Financial Group. And again, without their contributions, we wouldn't be able to do this and to honor these very deserving students. So let's have a round of applause for Lee County Electric Cooperative and Alliance Financial Group. And without further ado, we are here to honor some outstanding students today who have really made a difference at their respective schools. So let's get started. Our first award winner today is Nafis Ahmed. Let's have a round of applause for Nafis Ahmed. Come on up, Nafis. Take a few pictures. Nafis attends Harns Marsh Elementary School. His principal is Cynthia Hernandez, and school resource officer is Deputy Christine Zumbrum. And if those with Nafis today want to come up, we'll share his story. Nafis is a fourth grader at Harns Marsh Elementary School. Fourth grade teacher Darcy Johnson says she felt compelled to nominate Nafis for Do the Right Thing, not only because of his amazing academic focus, but also because of his awesome character. Since the beginning of the school year, Nafis has consistently modeled the HME expectations of having respect, making responsible choices, and everyone being safe. Nafis arrives at school on time and ready to learn each day, all the while being friendly and exhibiting a great attitude. Nafis listens carefully, follows class expectations, and sets a great example for others to follow. Nafis, keep up the good work by leading by example. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up, we're honoring two students, Haley Fuentes and Ashton Sainville. Let's have a round of applause for Haley Fuentes and Ashton Sainville. Haley's first. We'll get a quick picture here. Haley and Ashton both attend G. Weaver Hips Elementary School. Their principal is Dr. Deborah Noss, and school resource officer is Deputy Michelle Henson. And if those accompanying Haley and Ashton can please come forward, and we will share their story. All right. Haley Fuentes is a fifth grader at G. Weaver Hips Elementary, and Ashton is in the third grade. Move over just a little bit. There we go. There we go. School resource officer Deputy Michelle Henson writes, earlier this month at dismissal, as they were walking to their bus, a younger student fell down and hit his head. Haley and Ashton sprang to action, immediately notifying an adult and then rushing to be by his side. This was while other students continued to walk around the injured boy. Speaking with her teacher, she stated that Haley is always respectful and responsible. She completes tasks without being asked and will offer to help if she feels she can assist in any way. Haley is also the president of the National Elementary Honor Society at G. Weaver. She leads all meetings, which include decisions on our service projects. The most recent project that she helped the members decide on was the creation of the Kindness Rocks for our school. Ashton's teacher advises he is a sweet and kind friend. He is always respectful to the students and adults around him. Ashton is always willing to help others and shows great leadership in our school. Haley and Ashton, thank you for taking those leadership roles in your school. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Edwin Vadilo Iraldo. Let's have a round of applause for Edwin Vadilo Iraldo. Edwin attends G. Weaver Hips Elementary, where he is in the first grade. And those with Edwin today can please come forward and we'll share Edwin's story. Teacher Rachel Ludwig writes, Edwin is an exemplary student who demonstrates a great deal of respect for me as his teacher and takes pride and care in his work each day. In fact, I've begun to use Edwin's model work to demonstrate to others what they're supposed to do to achieve in terms of writing, reading ability, and math. I've come to depend on Edwin for his observant behavior for what the other students need and have asked him to help classmates with their work. I'm a new teacher this year, and I ask Edwin to recall what other students' jobs have been since the beginning of the school year as part of their Leader in Me school program. Edwin demonstrates the right behavior daily and chooses to do the right thing, and I am proud to have him as my student. Edwin, we're all proud of you. Thanks for doing the right thing. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Up next is Ava Rout. Let's have a round of applause for Ava Rout. Ava Rout? Come on up, Ava. Don't be shy. There we go. Ava attends River Hall Elementary School. Her principal is Jody Palakis, and school resource officer is Deputy Ed Vandal. And if those attending with Ava today want to come up front. I'm being told Ava's class may be watching this live on YouTube right now, too. Ava is a second grader at River Hall Elementary School. Teacher Paige Chardone writes, Ava was in class when she dropped her pencil on the floor. When she went to pick up the pencil, Ava discovered a green oval-shaped substance on the floor. Upon inspection, Ava knew that this was something that should be immediately reported to her teacher. Ava was trying best to be safe since he wasn't sure what the item was and didn't want to leave it on the floor since it looked dangerous. Ava helped our classroom stay safe by reporting something suspicious to her teacher. Ava is a very smart student and is always aware of her surroundings, and I am proud of Ava. Ava, thank you for reporting something suspicious to your teacher. It was the right thing to do. Thank you. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Peter Sherd. Let's have a round of applause for Peter Sherd. Peter attends Varsity Lakes Middle School. His principal is Dr. Scott Lemaster, and school resource officer is Deputy Robert Rabbit. And those with Peter today can please come forward and we will share his story. Peter is an 8th grader at Varsity Lakes Middle School. His principal, Dr. Lemaster, writes, "We are extremely proud of Peter. Recently, Peter brought a wallet he found with $24 in it to the front office as he wanted to make sure the rightful owner got their money back." In another good deed, Peter went completely out of his way to make sure that somebody that had left shoes on the school bus was reunited with those shoes. To watch Peter go out of his way twice to show this kind of leadership is beyond impressive. We are so proud of the example that he is for others. Way to go, Peter. We are proud and appreciative of you for doing the right thing. Peter, thank you for always thinking of others first. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Raul Parnell. Let's have a round of applause for Raul Parnell. Raul also attends Varsity Lakes Middle School, where he is in the 7th grade. Those with Raul can please come forward, and we'll share Raul's story. Principal Lemaster writes, "Raul is a wonderful young man and a great role model for all students. He works hard to earn good grades and is a model citizen for the classroom, hallway, cafeteria, and bus." Recently, Raul was confronted by another student. The student challenged Raul to a fight in the hallway. Raul stayed cool, calm, and collected and never lost his composure. The other student said things to Raul to try to upset him so that he would fight. Raul did not take the bait and instead walked away. When interviewed, Raul remained calm and said, "I did not want to fight," and told the other student this. Raul showed that sometimes the best action is inaction by declining to fight another student. We appreciate Raul doing the right thing and showing others how easy it is to make the right choice. Thank you, Raul, for staying calm under pressure and showing that violence is not the answer. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is proud of you. Next up is Nicholas Krautner. Let's have a round of applause for Nicholas Krautner. Nicholas attends Dr. Carrie Robinson Littleton Elementary School. His principal is Monica Broughton, and school resource officer is Deputy Emily Bramowitz. And those with Nicholas can come forward, and we'll share his story. Nicholas Krautner is a 2nd grader at Dr. Carrie Robinson Littleton Elementary. School resource officer Deputy Emily Bramowitz writes, "While in his classroom, one of Nicholas's classmates showed him a weapon he brought to school in his backpack. Nicholas knew this was not safe, and he immediately notified his teacher. The student, along with the contraband, was brought to school administration, and the situation was appropriately handled. Nicholas made a good choice and followed the motto, see something, say something. Nicholas is a role model to his fellow students. He is polite, on task, displays good sportsmanship, and completes classroom assignments to the best of his ability. Nicholas enjoys watching TV shows about law enforcement and wants to be Superman when he grows up. Nicholas, you are a superhero in our minds. Thank you for doing the right thing. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you." Next up is Roddy McCormick. Let's have a round of applause for Roddy McCormick. Roddy attends Athenian Academy Charter School. His principal is Wendy Lee, and school resource officer is Deputy Britt Smith. And those with Roddy can please come forward and we'll share his story. Roddy is an 8th grader at Athenian Academy Charter School. His school resource officer, Deputy Britt Smith, writes, Roddy McCormick is a compassionate, kind, and caring student. He comes into the school every morning with a smile on his face and a friendly hand wave to everyone he comes in contact with. He strives to do his very best on any task and does not let anything discourage him. When Roddy sees chairs and other things left out of place, he takes it upon himself to put things back in order, lining up the chairs with the tables in the cafeteria and throughout the school. Roddy works with integrity and can be trusted to get any job done. He's an exceptional student with a heart of gold, and I believe Roddy should be honored for a Do the Right Thing award. We couldn't agree more. Thanks, Roddy, for leading by example. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is proud of you. Up next is Jesus Ortiz Olvera. Round of applause for Jesus Ortiz Olvera. Jesus also attends Athenian Academy Charter School, where he is in the 5th grade. And those with Jesus can please come forward and we'll share his story. Staff member Monica Nash writes, I noticed last year Jesus always helped serve breakfast to other students in the mornings as soon as he arrived at school. This year, every afternoon during parent pickup, Jesus, without being asked or praised, started putting all the chairs back as the kindergarten students left to go home. When I asked his 5th grade teacher about him, she said Jesus is the kindest, hardest working student, always trying to be helpful. When he saves up enough money for the vending machine, he will buy gummy bears or something he knows that his teacher likes and happily offer it to her. Jesus exemplifies a good citizen with a great heart. We are lucky to have him at Athenian Academy Charter School. Jesus, thank you for being such a model student. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. And next up, we're honoring 2 students, William Kajesti and Kendrick Aganor. Round of applause for William Kajesti and Kendrick Aganor. William and Kendrick both attend Estero High School. Their principal is Mike Amabile, and school resource officers are Deputy Dave Wharton and Deputy Nicholas Tallarico. And those with William and Kendrick today, if there are anybody, can please come forward. William and Kendrick are both seniors at Estero High School. Principal Amabile writes, during the second week of school, we had a new student come to the office with his family. They did not speak English, and we did not have anyone on staff available to help translate Creole. A student aide mentioned that he thought Will spoke Creole, and he was in the auditorium at the time. I asked Will if he'd be comfortable helping translate. While we were talking, Kendrick was also close by and volunteered to help translate as well. Will and Kendrick put the family at ease and took it upon themselves to make an underclassman feel welcome and show him where his classes were. I have seen Kendrick checking on the student during class changes. Will and Kendrick make me extremely proud to be a Wildcat, and their kindness should be recognized. Will and Kendrick, thank you for making that new student feel at ease and welcome at Estero High School. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Allie Dunn. Let's have a round of applause for Allie Dunn. Allie attends Orange River Elementary School. Her principal is Casey Starrick, and school resource officer is Deputy Alan Bryant. And if those with Allie today want to please come forward. Allie's a fifth grader at Orange River Elementary School. Teacher Katie Berkheimer writes, Allie is a happy, polite member of the senior student body at Orange River, continually striving to do the right thing. Miss Berkheimer, one of her former teachers, expressed Allie would always choose the right path and not succumb to peer pressure when other students elected to steal or commit other inappropriate behavior. Allie would rather steer clear and advise an adult. Allie is a member of Orange River Safety Patrol as well. In this capacity, she radiates good citizenship for many others to follow. Allie's exemplary behavior is a role model for the junior classes to emulate. For this, she has been nominated for the Do the Right Thing Award. Allie, thank you for always choosing the right path and for being a natural leader. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Liberty Rogers. Let's have a round of applause for Liberty Rogers. Liberty attends Sunshine Elementary School. Her principal is Aaron Brandeo, and school resource officer is Deputy Rodolphus Hall. Those with Liberty want to come forward? Liberty is in the fourth grade at Sunshine Elementary. Teacher Lori O'Hara writes, Liberty has had a strong start to the school year. She comes into class every day eager to learn. In fact, she's the only student in class that's anxious to write long essays. She stays focused on her learning no matter what distractions might be in the classroom. Also, I've been impressed with Liberty's integrity. I sometimes give rewards for students that have achieved certain goals. I was handing out one of these particular awards, and I had an extra treat. While Liberty wasn't on that particular list, I decided to give it to her in response for her strong work ethic. Liberty initially gave it back to me, making sure I knew that she hadn't actually earned it. She didn't want to take it under false pretenses. Most students would have just grabbed the treat, but Liberty was honest and didn't want to take something that she felt she didn't deserve. That was impressive behavior. Overall, Liberty is an excellent Sunshine Scholar. Thank you, Liberty, for your strong work ethic and integrity. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up is Anika Lewis. Round of applause for Anika Lewis. Great job on the Pledge of Allegiance. Anika attends Tortuga Preserve Elementary School. Her principal is Jennifer Shonak, and school resource officer is Corporal Carolyn Gomez. And those with Anika can please come forward. Anika is a fifth grader at Tortuga Preserve Elementary School. Dean of School Discipline Elizabeth Carter writes, recently there have been some issues with students on the bus that Anika rides to and from school each day. Since I'm the dean, Anika would confide in me about issues on the bus. In one situation, there was a kindergarten student that was having problems riding the bus, and Anika suggested that she could sit with her and make sure the little girl made the right choices on the bus and followed the rules. The girl hasn't had a problem on the bus since Anika started helping her. There was also another problem on the bus recently where two students were fighting. I was reviewing the bus video and saw the students fighting, and then Anika swooped in and broke up the fight and separated the two boys. I am beyond proud of her leadership, initiative, and problem solving. She makes Tortuga proud. Anika, we all know the school bus can get crazy at times. Thanks for all the help you provide to keep the peace. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Up next is Acalia Clark. Let's have a round of applause for Acalia Clark. Acalia attends Tortuga Preserve Elementary and is in the kindergarten. And those with Acalia can please come forward. We'll share her story. Teacher Valerie Schuff writes, Acalia deserves the Do the Right Thing Award for helping a fellow student. During a recent breakfast for lunch day, a classmate spilled her entire container of syrup while trying to open it. The syrup went all down her school uniform dress, and the student became upset and started to cry. Acalia saw this happening and got up from eating to get her some napkins. She went over to the little girl and began wiping the syrup off her dress. Then she went under the table and wiped the syrup up off the floor. After she cleaned up, Acalia comforted the upset girl and told her it was okay. That was a wonderful example of kindness and compassion. Acalia, thanks for helping your classmate and making her feel better. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up, we have three students being honored together, Sadie Thomas, Kara Hoff, and Lindsay Hoff. Let's have a round of applause for Sadie, Kara, and Lindsay. Sadie, Kara, and Lindsay attend Ramus C. Page Elementary. Their principal is Valerie Scheckler, and school resource officer is Deputy Annie Allen. And those with Sadie, Kara, and Lindsay can please come forward. Sadie Thomas and Kara Hoff are in the 4th grade at Ramus C. Page Elementary, and Lindsay Hoff is in the 3rd grade. They were joined in their endeavor by Grayson Pickard, who unfortunately could not make it today, but she'll receive her recognition at a private ceremony at her school. School Resource Officer Deputy Annie Allen nominated the girls, who canvassed their neighborhood raking leaves, lots of leaves. In fact, the girls raked 10 lawns to raise money for charity. When all was said and done, the girls donated $250 to the Gulf Coast Humane Society, which used the money to buy dog and cat food, as well as treats and toys. While most of their classmates spent spring break playing, these girls worked hard to rake in cash for our furry friends. Sadie, Kara, and Lindsay, job well done for a great cause. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Next up, we're honoring two students together, Damian Sardinas and Aiden Gonzalez. Round of applause for Damian Sardinas and Aiden Gonzalez. Damien, you want to stand in the middle. You, Damien? You might want to stand in the middle there we go, so the TV will look right. Damien and Aiden both attend Oak Hammock Middle School. Their principal is Jennifer McMillan Barnes, and school resource officer is Deputy Edwin Antoine. And will those with Damien and Aiden come up forward and we'll share their story. Behavior specialist Shane Murphy writes, Aiden has a twin brother at school with autism. Every single day, I see Aiden walk his brother to his class and pick him up in the afternoon to take him to the bus or parent pickup. I have often witnessed Aiden holding his twin brother's hand, guiding him through the crowds and running through the hall to get his brother before the entire school is dismissed to make sure that he is safe and protected. Damien, as a friend, also works hard to ensure this young man stays safe. I have pulled Aiden and Damien aside and asked them if they wanted me to help so they could spend more time with their friends, but both politely decline, saying that they love doing what they do. What terrific young men. Aiden and Damien, thank you for such caring behavior. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. Jaslyn Hampton is next. Let's have a round of applause for Jaslyn Hampton. Jaslyn attends Tortuga Preserve Elementary School, where she is in the 4th grade. And if those with Jaslyn can please come forward. No more? Don't be shy. Teacher Andrina Dennison writes, Jaslyn lost her mother to cancer in September. As a 9-year-old, this is obviously an extremely challenging life event to deal with, especially at the beginning of the new school year. Jaslyn took some time off from school, but when she returned, she was the same bright, sweet girl that she was before. As her teacher, I've kept a close eye on her, as I know certain things may trigger her recent trauma and cause additional grief. She began looking after classmates, approaching those who seemed upset, offering a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on. On one occasion, our school held a book fair, and many students brought money to spend on items at the fair. Jaslyn noticed a classmate who seemed upset that hadn't brought any money. Jaslyn noticed that the girl was very upset and crying. Jaslyn gave the girl part of her money and even assisted her in finding items in that price range. The other student is an English language learner and struggles with many daily activities. Jaslyn continues to assist this student in class and on the playground, and has adapted a big sister role to her and many other classmates as well. Jaslyn does the right thing even as she struggles with her own emotional trauma. As her teacher, it warms my heart to see her working through her pain as she helps others in so many ways. Jaslyn, you have been a rock for others during this trying time. Keep up the good work. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is very proud of you. And finally, we have Jaden Giesler. Let's have a round of applause for Jaden Giesler. Jaden attends Bonita Springs Charter School. His principal is Carissa Carroll, and school resource officer is Deputy Chris Neville. And if those with Jaden can please come up front. Teacher Jennifer Florek writes, Jaden is a hardworking student who has had a rough start to his 6th grade year. Jaden had a real-life emergency right after his very first day of school. He found his mom passed out on the floor at home because she had lost so much blood. Jaden did the right thing as a 12-year-old and immediately called 911 and got her safely to the hospital. All while his mom was in the hospital, Jaden was still coming to school and getting his work done. He did not complain at all about what was going on. In fact, as his teacher, I found out what happened from his friend. Jaden was too private to share. Jaden's mom, Yvonne, stated, I am thankful and so proud of Jaden. Without him, I probably wouldn't even be here. The doctors in the ER kept me in the hospital and gave me a blood transfusion. Otherwise, I wouldn't have survived the night. Thanks to Jaden, I got the help I didn't know I needed. He is my hero and saved my life. Jaden, you are definitely a hero. Thank you for staying calm and getting the emergency help that your mom needed and saving her life. The Lee County Sheriff's Office and all of us are very proud of you. And again, remember to subscribe to the Lee County School District's YouTube channel, and you can watch repeats of today's ceremony anytime you wish. Now, for anybody that wants to stay and get a group photo, we'll be taking one in about 2 minutes. You can all come up front, and we'll take some photos, and we'll email them to all the parents. Finally, I want to thank everyone today for attending and for watching us on the school district's YouTube channel. Once again, let's give our students one big final standing ovation.
I missed it.
Okay.